Hello guys, welcome to another video. It's for Pichu as usual. I'm joined with Ivan straight from Serbia. Hello Ivan, how is your morning?
Hello, hello. Nice to meet you. It's everything perfect here. Sunny time in Serbia, Belgrade.
That's really great. That's really great. Nice to have you on 40 Africa podcast. And before we dive into the good talk, the talk we have today, I just want you to tell us who you are, introduce to us who you are, what you do, and everything, so that everyone can know who the
I,
person that we have today at the podcast.
yeah, sure, sure. First of all, thank you for calling me. And I was the professional football player in many countries, like France, European countries, Middle East, China, Asia. And I was now the coach of Serbian clubs before this one, Croatia, and also in China. So now my main job is I'm the manager of the club's head coach.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. So, you've seen players, you've played the game, you know how the game goes. You've been in several continents. You know how the game is played. So, and it's really nice to have a person like you to talk about this talk. The GOAT talk, the biggest players that we've seen in football. But before we go ahead, who are your best five players you see who have changed the game, who have been so influential in the game?
It depend on the, let's say, the time schedule of the players, but we can all consider that example Ronaldo and Messi are the someone who is changing the game on their ways, and maybe two the biggest names in the last 10, 15, 20 years we have in the modern time of football. Now is the new players coming like Mbappe, Haaland, more physical players with the physical skills as a priority, and this is something is changing the game. But as we see last European Championship in the moment, there is again Spanish wingers who is again skillful player with, of course, physical part what is necessary to have in this modern football.
At the moment, your big names are Ronaldo and Messi, and that is what is going on everybody's mind. Like the biggest players we have right now who have changed the game for the past 15, 20 years is Ronaldo and Messi. But before we go to anything, who is the best players you've played alongside, and who is the best player that you've coached as the manager?
But the biggest name I was playing and training every day was Michael Essien. This was the biggest name. I was his teammate in SC Bastia in France. We played there, and this is sure the biggest name I was playing with. Against, I play with a lot of famous players. One of the famous is maybe Ronaldinho. His time in PSG, I was playing that time in Bastia. We play one against each other before he went to Barcelona in my playing time. And in my coaching time, I have young players. They should to become some stars probably in the future, and there is some already big talents, especially in my Croatian club where I was coaching young players. One of them is already the player of 10, 12, 15 million euro worth on the market, should to be in Salzburg going already. So for now, I don't have some still big names. Was coaching them, but because of they are young players and they are still development on the way to
Oh,
be
go ahead. You can go ahead and tell me what you can go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
young and they are on the way to be the big one. They are big potential, but who will be the rising star? There is a one example player in Croatia now. He's playing for one club, Osijek. They saying he's new Holland, but we need to see this one first to happen.
That's nice. That's really nice. It's really interesting to just see a person who has played with Michael alongside Michael Essien. A big player, and also Ronaldinho, a big entertainer who just made a name, who made a name on the big stage for himself. And just before we go ahead, just tell us how was the vibe when you're playing against Ronaldinho. How was it? How was it facing him? How
At that time, he was the, let's say, known as a football player only and the biggest star in the world in that moment. Because this was the time when he was making his way and his name before coming to Barcelona and rest of the clubs. He was in PSG and he was really great. Great to see, great technique, great skills, great movements, and he's really enjoying when you are next to him on the ground, when you seeing these things. Unbelievable what he can do with the ball. And when you talk about Michael Essien, he was professional, big, big worker. I remember first my day when I come to training camp in Corsica in the island where is the club Bastia it is, and I was coming in very early. I wanted to see everything because everything was new. I just arrived to the club and I saw a guy in the gym. I didn't know who is he. Already working, already hard things, already preparing, and I saw a bunch of muscles. What I saw in that moment, but that was him. Worker, first one coming, last one going out from the training. Big, big, big professional. And when you hit him on the training, like you hit in the wall, it was the same, like you hit the wall. You just roll from him back. That's how he was strong. So this is some football way. You need get to the big things with a lot of work. The talent is one thing, but the workers on the end become the great one.
Asian before even his name was big, you know, coming to Chelsea and making a big name for himself. In League One, he was training every day early in the morning, going to the gym, doing what, making preparing himself every day. And people think that these things just happen, but when behind the scene, players always put in more work so that they can do what they do on the pitch, right?
Sure, nothing come in the football by accident. Everything is with the hard work and with the dedication. When you lose this, you're going down with the career. Same like Ronaldinho, he was the phenomenon. But when he lose the touch with the everyday work and the professionals, it's end. You're going down very easy. And Michael was the guy who was working day night, dedicated 0024. This was his time when he was just making his name after the Bastia. He got to Lyon and then he makes some big step to Chelsea, to Real, these kind of things. But the way before he come there in the beginning in Bastia, he was a working guy, day night, very big professional guy. And again, he was fixing his, let's say, down things in the football. He was fixing his power, he was fixing his running, he was fixing his technical things. Everything can be fixed in football because football is a learning way and pattern to success is to learn as much as you could and to improve. And this is something you need to work every day. And he do it. On the end, he was a big player with a big career, and now his name is known in the world.
Uh, that's right. They have he has made a big one of the best players that we have witnessed in the past 30 years. But again, what is the difference between the game that you played during your years and the way the game is played now? What's like the big difference?
Physical aspect, definitely. Running aspect, definitely. Speed of the game, definitely. This is the things are changing the football and progressing still. And it's going to go up and up more. The football is now more physical, more running, more speed than it was 10, 15 years ago. It's less technical things you need to be the great one. You don't have time anymore to be Ronaldinho and dribble five players or big Ronaldo who was also dribbling five players because now everyone are, let's say, speedy, everyone are strong, everyone are tough, so you have less time to do something with the ball because the game is faster.
So, like if you take the players that are playing right now, and you put back to the players that were, can they fit in the game that was being played, say 15 years ago? Can these young players fit in the style that was, because we see some people like last season we saw something like Ben White was being compared to the great Zinedine Zidane, and people are like, "What's wrong with the English media? How can they compare a great player like Zinedine Zidane to Ben White?" Do you think that these players who are playing at the moment can fit into the system that used to play 15, 20 years ago?
But it's difficult to judge. It's important, I think, that we understand that the creators in the game, like Zidane, like Ronaldinho, and stuff like this, they will always have their own special place in the football team. In any time, in any things happening, they will always find their place. But their uh, part of the show is not the same. Because, example, now in this moment you have the new coming players like Mbappe, like Haaland, and the players like this. What is the trend and market of football asking? They are more physical. They are more, they are not known as a strong or fast. You don't have any more players as a number 10 like we was having with Ronaldinho, Zidane, and that time. We are more now having runners. So the time is different. I think that Zidane will always find his place in any team because of the using of the brain. But maybe this time for him to play will be more difficult because everyone are much more faster than before and stronger. But example, if you put also Haaland or Mbappe in the time of Zidane to play the game, I think they also find some difficulties because it was less space, less transition in the game, less running, less things what they asking now in this moment, what is the target. So every time have their own specific things for football. And football change. This is something we need to understand is change, is progressing in their own ways of the show. Because important that on the end everyone give and deliver the show to the fans. So the stadiums are full and the TV rights are selling and stuff like this. So we're becoming like say more commercial and the football going in direction of commercial, and this is something it's obviously necessarily to happen.
True, true. That's right. But again, there are aspects that we look at, and you're like, the game has changed. It's more physical. But when you look at like the time you're playing football, it was a bit more crazy. Like the physicality was so crazy. You're not running. You're not doing what. But the physicality was crazy. You look at the defenders like John Terry, like Ferdinand Vidic, who could put their body in the way they wanted to. They could die for the team. Defenders right now they are not doing such stuff. Understand? Even if there is the player is going faster, there is a lot of pace, there is a lot of physicality. There is a bit difference that when you look at, you will say that now the game is more softer. The introduction of VAR, which has made the game also a bit more dependent on what the computer says and what maybe the people behind who are watching the VR will say. So I think the past was more stronger. The game was more stronger compared to now. Yeah, the game is changing and every day is changing. We see people like Pep Guardiola who have come and introduced more philosophies and changed the game to be more tiki-taka. And right now, at the moment, you'll see coaches are trying to, more managers are trying to copy the style and trying to bring that style in their game, right?
Yes, sure. But
Yeah. So yeah, now let's just go deep dive to like. I want us to like name for us like the best goalkeepers that you've seen throughout from the past 20 or 30 years behind up to the moment? Like, can you name five goalkeepers who you've seen who are like the GOAT, who are the best, claim their claim of what we have in football?
but you think this what you're telling me a lot of things change. In the past you have some Fabian Barthez, you have Schmeichel, you have things like this. Now you have Ted Stegen and stuff like this, because the demand for the football change is not only Guardiola change it, is the football change it, because now your keeper is a last man of defense and he is using his legs to organize the attacks and the game. And this was not demand before. You have time 20 years ago when the keeper only used his hand, and anytime you bring him back the ball, he is using the hand to take it. And this was the change of the rules by FIFA, change necessarily for the keeper. And the demand for the keeper was from the only head ball in the hand to have more ball in the legs. And then you get the change of needs for the keeper. And this thing changed the game. And it's normal. And with the differ also change of the game, because you have now also necessarily that central defenders are more Yapstam and Vidic, who is like the coaches. They are like central defenders to organize the style of game, the type of game, the speed of game, the rhythm game, and they still need to do their defending and task. This is changing football. I think little, yes, of course. Guardiola is the inventor, and Klopp also doing his thing, and to Wenger style, and a lot of stuff, but also as FIFA change them, get direction what we need to do. And this is something I don't hear you. I don't hear you in the moment. I don't know you, but I don't hear you.
I think. Can you hear me?
I don't hear.
Okay. Okay. Move. Let's move it. Let's move forward. You know. You've talked about the goalkeepers, the aspect, the way it has changed, and everything. Can you hear me? You cannot hear me. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the hiccups and everything, but I think now it's going to go well. Can you hear
Yes,
me now? Okay, that's better. Can you hear? What about now?
I don't hear you.
Yeah, but I can hear you. Me, I can hear you correctly. I can hear you very well.
No,
About the network. Sorry about the network. Can you hear me now? What's, what about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, man. So I think, guys, Ivan was really telling us great stories. So guys, so sorry about the hiccups and everything. I think we're just going to redo the whole podcast and everything. Sorry for that. Sorry about that. We're just going to